This is Rick Rule for Rule Investment Media and the Rule Classroom, sponsors of the 2025 Rule Natural Resources Investment Symposium, July 7th through 11 in Boca Raton, or via live stream wherever you happen to be. It's important for those of you who are going to attend the conference to understand that we're going to give you between 50 and 55 hours of programming over 4 days, more than you can possibly absorb. To that end, we interview every single conference sponsor and every single speaker before the conference so that you can familiarize yourself with our subjects and allocate your time and your capital much more efficiently at that conference. Further to that, the recordings of the conference will be available for a full year after the conference, and subject-specific discussion groups will take place at the Rule Classroom so that you can compare notes with other attendees. It's important to note, too, that unlike any other investment conference on the planet, every single exhibitor at our conference has been vetted. Specifically, the shares of every public company exhibitor at the conference are owned in accounts owned or managed by the conference sponsors. There's no guarantee, of course, that because I own a company shares that the price goes up, but there is a guarantee that we have vetted every single exhibitor at that conference. It's a point of pride for us that goes back 30 years. So let's begin the process. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Tim Laneyrie, CEO of Andean Silver. Tim, first of all, welcome to the conference. I think this is your first year, but thank you for your support and your willingness to participate.
No, thank you for inviting us.
Tell me something about your background. Give our listeners a reason to care about your answers to the nosy questions which will follow.
Okay. My background itself is pure geology. So I've been a geologist for close to 25 years now. I've worked for major gold companies in Australia, Northern Star Resources, who's the largest gold miner in Australia at the moment, Saracen Minerals as their predecessor, and Resolute Mining. So I've worked through Australia, Africa, in production, exploration, resource development, and most recently in the last 5 years, mergers and acquisitions with Northern Star Resources, most notably the Super Pit transaction off Barrick and Newmont. So my background is effectively well-rounded in all aspects of geology and project acquisitions.
Geology and commerce, that's a great background. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get on now to Andean. Give us a brief overview of Andean, which will give me the ability to ask you more incisive questions.
Well, Andean itself is a relatively new company, so it's only been in its inception in its current form for about 2 years. Currently, before that, it was founded as an exploration shell. The company itself acquired the Cerro project about a year and a half ago now. So we acquired it as a care and maintenance operation, and have slowly, over the past year and a half, grown up from 10 employees all the way through to 170 geology team on the ground at the moment, gone from 0 drilling to 3 to 4 drill rigs currently on the ground, and grown the resource significantly over the time. So we're really developing this project that's sitting in southern Chile at the moment, the Cerro Gold Project, and trying to get it to the next stage of its life. The mine itself was acquired from a long list of players. So it originally built by Core Mining in 1995, so it was their second ever asset that they owned. So itself, it's had over a 20-year mine history. So we're looking to reinvigorate it and bring it on to the next phase of its growth.
Let's talk about that. What can you say in terms of measured, indicated reserves and resources? What size are we talking about?
Right now, we have a indicated inferred resource of 9.8 million tonnes at 353 grams per tonne silver equivalent for 111 million ounces. So it's a traditional low sulfidation and it's pure gold and silver. So we don't have credits accounted for zinc, lead, and copper in that mix. Historically, it's produced over 100 to 120 million ounces of silver historically under the ownership of Core Mining and Mandalay Resources. So significantly, it's a 250 million ounce system and growing currently.
And tell us, if you are able, what you see as the exploration upside. I understand that's an arm-waving question, and I'm not asking you to disclose material non-public information, but tell us why and how you believe this deposit grows.
Well, I'll give you the brief story over the last year. So when we acquired the asset, it was assumed to be mined out. In that time, we've actually made 6 major new vein discoveries. We, in fact, put out a new discovery yesterday of a 1.2 kilometre long vein sitting 1 kilometre from a historic mine next to the main road, running up to 3% silver on surface on a vein that's up to 1.5 metres wide. So the exploration potential that we see in the project is massive. We have targets that we've just put into a maiden resource that was only discovered a year ago in the shadow of the current processing facility. So in this very short time frame, on an area that you would expect to be picked over significantly, we've probably discovered in excess of 15 kilometres of surface veins running at an average grade of 2,000 to 3,000 grams per tonne silver equivalent. So going forward, we think we've only touched 20 to 30 square kilometres out of a land holding of 400 square kilometres. So we've only just started scraping the surface in this first year of operations currently. So, we continue with those trends. We have a district scale silver play.
I guess I'm asking you in the next question to speculate a little bit. Is the reason why so much exploration potential remains the fact that the silver price was low for 20 years and the prior operators used this as a cash cow? I mean, how does this happen?
Well, yeah, exactly. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. So when Core Mining was mining it, silver was, less than $5, and gold was, in the hundreds of dollars. So the cutoff grades that these companies were using were, open pit mining 4 or 5 grams per ton to make money work at those times. And Core, through the Mandalay, have actually invested over 900,000 meters of drilling in the ground since then. A lot of these deposits are already drilled to 30, 40 meter spacing over kilometers. And we're now coming back and leveraging all this drilling that's done. So it's effectively free resource ounces to us, leveraging all this drilling that's done historically.
And what data of documentation do you have around the reserves and resources? Are we talking about preliminary economic assessment? Are we talking about, resource evaluation? Tell me where we are in terms of in-house and third-party credibility around the numbers.
Yeah. So our resource itself is done in-house, and it's done by a team that have come out of major companies in Australia, major gold players in Australia. The resources themselves have been, estimated internally, reviewed by 3 external parties, including Cube Consulting, who is an internationally recognised mining consultancy firm. So they have the prime validation of our resource. In the resource itself, we are currently in the background starting the work on internal studies to look at the optionality around mining. So we're at an early stage. As I said, we've only had this project for 1 to 1.5 years. And in that time, we have grown significantly, and we've been playing catch up while creating these new opportunities in the resource.
What do you see in terms of adding value in the next year or 2 years? Do you see this as an exploration play? Do you see this as a delineation play? Do you see this as yes to both? Where do we go from here? What are you going to be telling our people that the investment upside is about in the next 12 months and the next 24 months, respectively?
Well, the project itself, we currently have it as an exploration and resource growth project. Saying that, it's already got environmental baseline studies already done, environmentally permits already completed, mining permits in place. It's all on granted mining permits. We have a 500,000 tonne per annum float plant, silver gold float plant, that is actually on warm idle. We turn it over every week. So we can, in fact, if we really wanted to, leverage the remaining 1.5 million tonnes of material we still have the current mining permits. So it's one of those projects where we want to grow this resource and understand it before we turn it on. But at the same time, we could turn this on within a month or 2 and generate revenue over a number of years. But our aim itself is to understand this resource, and in the background, we're looking at optionality. So yes, we have this mill ready to go, but do we need to look at upsizing to 750,000 tonnes or 1 million tonnes per annum? So over the next 1 to 2 years, we'll be doing all those studies. producing a DFS phase within 2 years, DFS study within 1 to 2 years, and then looking at the restart options in that 27 period.
Will we see a document like a pre-feasibility study or a PEA before the 2-year time frame, or are you going right straight to fees?
No, in the background, because our resource doesn't quite meet the scale of having the required indicated, we're looking at a scoping study level, a PEA phase study in the background at the moment, which won't be published, which will then guide our infill drilling campaign, which in probably that 1 to 1.5 years will then put out a feasibility to DFS study phase to the market, which will outline what the project is and what it will be going forward. That will then roll into your construction phase.
So we're talking about an inferred resource, inferred and indicated resource in excess of 100 million ounces, with a fair bit of exploration upside, and at grades given competitors that are pretty attractive. What am I paying for this? What's the market capitalization of the company? How much cash do you have, and how much cash do you need, if any?
So right now, just laying it all out, we acquired the project for a considerable discount of about $4 million US, probably about 1.5 years ago. So we got a fairly good deal on it. Our market cap currently is sitting at about 150 million Australian, and to put it into context, that's probably less than the replacement value of the current infrastructure on site at the moment. So right now we're probably sitting really undervalued. Our resource isn't even counted in our current valuation.
And how much cash do you have? How much cash do you need? Are you going to have to raise? Where are we in terms of delivering the work you have to do over the next 12 months?
Yeah. Our cash balance at the end of the quarter is sitting at about 20 million Australian currently. So we're sitting quite well to see through the rest of the year and into next year with the current cash that we have. And any future raise will be guided by, as you know, most of these large systems, you would like to have a dozen rigs at any time to hit the targets as you will. But, we'll adjust our plan and our capital raisings to suit the current phase of the project.
Great. Tim, this is a great story. I'm delighted I'm a shareholder. I hope a lot of our attendees reach out to you. To the extent that our attendees want to learn more about Andean, who do they contact? Specifically, who do they contact? And specifically, how do they contact them?
I'm the primary contact for anyone who wants to reach out. I'll happily answer any phone calls or emails that come through to our desk. Contactable through our website. We have, for general investors, a email that will go straight through to me that I usually see each day. So I can answer any questions at the time, and I will be at the conference as well.
Tim, thank you for your sponsorship and support. Thank you, too, for your efforts on behalf of shareholders, myself included. I look forward to hosting you October 7 through 11 in Boca Raton.
No, thank you. We'll see you there.